Sarah, Morgan, and I were just having a brief conversation before we let everyone into the room. How it's the middle of the summer, and we have what we call a packed house, and that really shows that these are valuable conversations, and that you really support what we are trying to do here with the lunch and learns through the Mason Stafford. And today we have Sarah Nowak, who is the director of our faculty affairs area with the Mason School. One thing I will say about Sarah is her and I partner very closely together on a lot of things. One of the big things is making sure people get paid. I always joke with her about how I couldn't do my job without her, but it is more than a joke. It is definitely the truth. Sarah also does a lot more for the business school. As you may know, she works closely with Kimberly Smith, our senior associate dean for faculty and faculty administration, and partners with many of you, I believe, to help you out with what you need in terms of faculty related things from, I guess, the high level. I will not take much more of Sarah's time, and we'll let her do a little bit more talking about what she does for the Mason School of Business. And Sarah, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Brian. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to share these. Can you see the slides? Yeah, great. Okay. Well, thank you for everybody that was able to come today. Like Brian said, we were a little worried that in the middle of the summer we might not get attendance. Hold on one second, maybe Diane there. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start. Kim, like Brian said, Kim Smith and I make up the academic affairs and faculty affairs team. This presentation is just going to give you a little bit of a background on each of us and an overview of the types of activities that we're involved in. She brings over 30 years of experience here to Mason as a senior associate dean, but she had previously been a faculty member in the accounting department. Her expertise definitely helps guide process and policy development for our office now that she's joined us. Since I've been here I guess a year and a half or 2 years now, but I was only in Miller Hall for 8 months. So I've worked from home about double the time that I actually worked in Miller Hall. I wanted to give just a background about myself. I began working in higher education at George Washington University in an off-campus location 13 years ago, right after I finished an undergrad degree at ODU in business. I have a master's degree in human education development from GW. At GW, I worked in systems engineering and engineering management graduate degree programs and just managed all of the programs that they offered there. This is just a quick introduction. I'm married to Steve, and we have one son who's coincidentally named Mason. I have a twin sister named Jenny, and she has a daughter, Savannah, who's like Mason's sister, and we pretty much do everything together. And this is just a bit of cuteness overload because this is what our summer has been. We've spent a lot of time getting to know furry friends. One of our favorite hobbies is anything that involves animals. So what we do here, throughout the year, our focus in academic affairs changes depending on the priorities at the time of the semester. Beginning and end of the semesters are fairly busy with registrar-related things and faculty hiring. But in any given time, we are managing several projects that could include any of the items that are on this table. I'll go into a little bit more detail about some of these later on. This is just an image of an intersection of where faculty and academic affairs meet. These numbers were collected when I wrote the AACSB report last year, so they may be a little different now. But it kind of just gives an image of the types of things that we do here in Miller Hall with the 6 residential programs, the 4 online programs, and we're adding additional programs. And then we have 1,500 undergrad and grad students annually. We're ranked number 71 by US News Best Business Schools and top 10 best professors, 52 full-time professional staff, 17 full-time operational staff. And then on the right side, it's more academic affairs stuff. We offer 500 courses a year with 65 full-time faculty, 25 adjunct faculty, and 35 section leaders over 6 academic areas. That ties into our accreditation there, where we are one of 190 schools that are accredited by AACSB in the world. Our office partners with many offices inside Miller Hall and a few all across campus as well. We collaborate with Anthony and Cherie in academic administration related to registrar course scheduling. We meet occasionally, a couple times a year, with Laura and her team related to professorships or any special projects that are related to donors. We work with Mike and Sue on dashboards, course evaluations, faculty load data. A couple of times a year, we meet with executive partners who assist us with our assurance of learning processes. We work with Kimberly and Carol on faculty orientations, the faculty websites, and budgeting. Work with Brian and Michelle regularly related to hiring full-time or part-time faculty and processing contracts and LOIs. We collaborate pretty often with Anna and Kyle on things related to faculty research and metrics, as well as maintenance of our faculty data repository, which is digital measures. We also work really closely with the program offices about policies for students and any support that we can provide. We handle their academic petition requests along with Cherie. And we have recently started regular program reviews that we support. We participate on various committees. AOL, FAST, APB, and the Senior Advisory are fairly new committees that we have participated on. And at the main campus, we work with the Dean of Students Office for any honor code policy procedures or medical withdrawals, anything related to accommodation policy or procedures. We work with institutional effectiveness and assessment. We're on the ASC committee that deals with the Call 400s and the Call 300s assurance of learning. And we also interact with them related to SAC, COC, and SHEV. And Kim regularly meets with leadership from the Ed School, Law School, A&S, and BEMS. So this goes into a little bit of detail about what AACSB is. Every 5 years, the business school is required to submit a report to their team. And it basically defines how we adhere to the standards that they define. For our next report, we'll focus on the standards that are in this image. We worked all last year to develop the report, and 2020 to develop the report that we would submit by the end of the year. And we met with the peer review team at the end of February and beginning of March to review all of the reports and have meetings with the faculty and different constituents within the Mason School. Happily, we received word shortly after that meeting that we were awarded extension of accreditation without any conditions, which we were really happy about. The next review would be in 2025. And our goal this time around is to create a repository to maintain ongoing records to make preparation of the report next time a lot more seamless. Most of the standards that are listed here are common to what we just wrote in the 5-year report last year. One of the things that is going to be more focused on next time is the societal impact. We have always reported on scholarship, but we're going to focus a little bit more on the impact of scholarship and engagement in societal impact and ethics principles. So this just tells you a little bit about what is assurance of learning. Our official process for assurance of learning is to demonstrate that students are achieving learning expectations. We use the process to assess 4 learning goals that are defined by the faculty and a steering committee, which is communications, critical thinking, content, knowledge, and principled mindset. We have to evaluate each program 2 times in 5 years. There has to be continual improvement shown. We have to keep meticulous records about how progress is being made in each program and how we're addressing it if there are any kind of limitations or something we didn't expect comes through that process. It also helps faculty as they work to improve courses and programs on an ongoing basis to make sure that we're delivering top quality education to students. So as part of the 5-year report that we wrote last year, we decided that we needed to give it more of a wheeled approach so that we could demonstrate all of the assurance of learning activities that we do that aren't necessarily the official AOL process with the data collection with the executive partners, that we also continuously improve based on a lot of other things. Gathering data comes from our regular program meetings, advisory board meetings, the evaluations. We also meet with faculty once a year to develop course maps and curriculum maps to ensure that progress through the courses is happening the way it should. During the end of gathering data, that process, we gather artifacts, which are assignments from the courses that we select that actually measure the goals. When we measure the outcomes, we rate the artifacts. As part of measuring outcomes, we review course evaluations. We provide AACSB with information on placement and rankings and any alumni feedback that we receive. As part of evaluation, we review the ratings. We provide the ratings to the faculty. So when I say we, it's not me and Kim. A lot of this is that we're providing the data and it's being reviewed school-wide when I say we. The faculty evaluate the outcomes. Everybody discusses what the outcomes were, and we identify innovations and any changes that need to be made. And another part that's big for AACSB is ensuring that we document that we've closed the loop on the cycle, and we have to do that twice. So we improve the AOL process itself every year. We conduct program changes based on 5-year program reviews and when the faculty get together and do their evaluation of the programs. Any major course revisions or course adjustments go through the curriculum committee. So we set out to kind of explain to the AACSB peer review team that all of these things make up our continual improvement efforts. And for the next rounds, we would want to ensure that we maintain data around any of these things so that as we build the table of contents and we begin writing the report in the next 5 years, we have that information to write around. We also are going to collect faculty committee reports annually. We're going to collect any media mentions of the faculty. A lot of the times they'll get special mention in different articles or newspapers or things like, or sometimes videos that they'll send to us, and we're going to collect and all of those documents as part of an appendix again. So we're going to just take this opportunity to ask you to keep us in mind. We were in touch with a lot of you as part of the development of the report last year. A lot of it was playing catch up because Kim and I were both new to our position, so we didn't have that history of activity for the whole 5 years. And it made it a little bit more difficult for us. So we thought this coming 5 years, we want to maintain a repository annually of every activity, report, graphic, anything that we can gather, so that when we begin writing the report next year, we'd have the bones already in place. The AACSB philosophy is engagement, innovation, and impact. It's the same one we wrote for the last 5 years. Engagement is going to refer to anything, how the faculty engage with students as well as industry, and how we engage industry with the students. The principles are there. Integrity and ethics are going to be a bigger, and societal impact are going to be a bigger focus. We have written around mission-driven focus. The peer review process is key for AACSB and continuous improvement. So if you have anything in your office that relates to these principles, or the philosophy, or anything from the prior slides that you think could be useful as we develop content for our next 5-year report, we'd love to receive it. You can send me it via email, and I will keep it in a box folder for the next time we write the report. Do we have any questions?
Any questions for Sarah? Put them in the chat or. Well, you're getting some kudos in the chat, so it sounds like you must have answered everyone's questions, and I'm so glad that you are being, part of today. Thank you for taking the time, and I hope everybody finds that these are informative and helpful as we continue to get to know what our partners here in Miller Hall do. And Sarah,
I appreciate you having me. I hope I covered everything. I know I talk really fast, But if you have any questions later on, or if you decide that you just want to come chat with me, I know we'll be back in Miller Hall soon, and I'll be working in person with most of you again. I'm looking forward to that.
Great, Brian, anything you want to add to wrap us up?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Sarah for joining us and giving us a little bit about her work and how she supports the Mason School of Business as we continue to strive for greatness. And I also want to thank you all again for joining us and participating in our meeting. And hopefully, as Sarah and Morgan have said, these are beneficial to you, and you can take a little something back to your groups and talk to them about what Sarah does.